The shadowy disappearance of Claudia Lawrence explores one of the UK's most famous unsolved cases. Claudia Lawrence, a 35-year-old chef, disappeared on March 18, 2009, in York. After finishing her workday, she was last seen walking home, but vanished shortly after. Despite a detailed police investigation and media attention, her case remains a mystery. Claudia was a shy but social woman from a middle-class family. She had a solid career as a chef and a vibrant social life, including several discreet relationships. On March 18th, Claudia worked her usual shift, walked home, and exchanged texts with friends. She spoke to her parents that evening, but after 8:30 p.m., she vanished. No more messages were sent, which was unusual for her. Police found unidentified DNA and fingerprints in her home, but they couldn't solve the case. CCTV footage showed men lurking around her house, and there were suspicions that Claudia might have known her abductor. Various sightings of suspicious figures, including a man seen outside her house early in the morning, deepened the mystery. Claudia's discreet relationships led police to believe her personal life might hold clues. Several people were questioned, including a friend who often gave her rides and a man she was reportedly seen arguing with the morning she disappeared. No charges were filed. Claudia's case still puzzles the nation. Investigators followed leads such as a rusty white van and cigarette butts found in her car, but these led to dead ends. Claudia's disappearance remains unsolved, with no trace of her body or conclusive evidence of foul play. The eerie streets of York held their usual silence that evening, drenched in twilight, where shadows stretched long across the cobbled roads. Among them walked Claudia Lawrence, her figure blending into the creeping darkness as she made her way home. It was a night like any other, or so it seemed. But what no one knew was that Claudia's final steps would be taken that night, vanishing into the depths of a mystery that has haunted an entire city. For what appeared to be a quiet, routine life soon unraveled into one filled with hidden desires, ominous watchers, and dark secrets lurking just beyond the edge of sight. Claudia was a woman of contradictions. Shy, reserved, and dependable on the surface, yet her personal life was a whirlwind of affairs that few people truly knew about. Her home, a cozy cottage in Heworth, York, stood as a quiet sanctuary. But behind closed doors, her life was filled with fleeting romances and secret encounters, some of which were rumored to involve married men. On March 18, 2009, she returned from her morning shift as a chef at the University of York, speaking briefly to her mother over the phone. Her voice was calm, untroubled, and full of anticipation for the weekend plans she had made. Yet, this phone call would mark the last time anyone heard from her. That night, Claudia disappeared. Police reports indicate that she likely vanished sometime after 9 p.m., when the last text message was sent from her phone. What made it even more unsettling was the absence of her usual signature and X at the end of her messages. Was this Claudia, or had someone else taken her phone? As the hours ticked by, the questions deepened, and the town of York would soon become the stage for one of the most chilling unsolved mysteries in modern British history. In the days leading up to her disappearance, neighbors had reported seeing strange men lurking around Claudia's neighborhood. Unidentified figures were captured by CCTV cameras, their faces obscured in the dim lighting of the street. These shadowy figures seemed to know her schedule, their presence a silent omen. The footage showed them pacing, watching. Were they mere passers-by, or was there something far more sinister about their intent? A neighbor recalled seeing Claudia the afternoon before she vanished, her face showing no signs of worry or fear. But what if she knew? What if she had already sensed the danger lurking around her? Had these watchers been following her for days, weeks, months even, waiting for the perfect moment? That moment came on March 18th. After exchanging texts with friends, Claudia locked her door. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the shadows began to stir. It was early the next morning when Claudia's friend, Susie Cooper, arrived at the Nag's Head for their planned meetup. Claudia didn't show. Susie waited patiently, her eyes constantly drifting toward the pub's door, expecting to see her friend walk in with her usual smile. But minutes turned into hours, and the smile never appeared. The following day, the alarm was raised. Claudia's father, Peter Lawrence, contacted her workplace, and it was confirmed Claudia had missed her shift. Her phone was silent. The ever-reliable chef who never missed work had vanished without a trace. Yet the most disturbing part of the case lay not just in Claudia's disappearance, but in the small, chilling details that emerged during the investigation. Her house showed no signs of forced entry. In fact, nothing appeared out of place. But then there was the matter of the unidentified fingerprints found inside her home, evidence of an unseen visitor who had crossed Claudia's threshold, possibly the night she vanished. Had she invited them in willingly, unaware of the danger? Or had they slipped in unnoticed, watching her from the shadows as she went about her evening routine, oblivious to the impending horror? As the police dug deeper, strange pieces of evidence began to surface. A rusty white van had been spotted near Claudia's usual walking route, its driver reportedly trying to speak to a jogger days before the disappearance. Then there were the cigarette butts found in her car that had been in the shop for repairs, left in a state of disrepair on the day she disappeared. None of these leads amounted to anything concrete, yet they added to the growing sense of unease that surrounded the case. Was Claudia targeted by someone she knew, a lover perhaps, or one of the mysterious men lurking near her home? Rumors swirled about her relationships, painting a picture of a woman with a hidden life. But who among her acquaintances could have had the motive to harm her? And why? No one had answers, only suspicions. As investigators retraced her steps, it became clear that Claudia's final moments were shrouded in ambiguity. The last CCTV footage captured her walking toward her house, alone, untroubled. But what happened after she stepped through her door remains a chilling mystery. Some believe that Claudia knew her abductor, that she had let them into her home willingly. Others speculate that she was taken against her will, snatched from her doorstep in the dead of night. Was it someone she trusted, someone who knew her routine and her secrets? Or was it a stranger, a predator who had been watching, waiting for the right moment to strike? The eerie silence that followed her disappearance left a void that continues to echo in the minds of those who knew her, and the unanswered questions keep the city of York on edge, even years later. As the clock struck midnight on March 18th, Claudia's phone went silent. Her last message was a cryptic farewell, missing the trademark X that had always been her signature. Was it a deliberate omission, or had someone else sent the message, mimicking her style but missing a crucial detail? That final call to her friend, the last words exchanged with her mother, all of it now felt like the calm before the storm. Claudia had walked into the shadows that night, and whatever happened next, it was something only the darkness knew. Years have passed since Claudia Lawrence disappeared, but the mystery remains unsolved. Her case has become a ghost story, whispered among the people of York. Some say they still see her figure, walking the same streets she once knew, disappearing into the night as if retracing her final steps. But the truth is buried deep, hidden in the shadows where Claudia Lawrence was last seen. The streets of York are quiet now, but there's something unsettling in the air. The story of Claudia Lawrence isn't just a cold case, it's a reminder that the unknown lurks closer than we think. In every shadow, there is a secret. In every face, a story untold. And somewhere, out there, someone knows what happened to Claudia Lawrence. The only question left is whether they'll ever tell.